A new United Nations watchdog report is putting a stark spotlight on the dangers of cluster bombs. More than 100 nations banned their use, but Russia is dropping them on Ukraine, and Ukraine has been using them in return. Cluster bombs, with their smaller bomblets inside, spread out over wide areas, and the duds often fail to explode right away. So the victims are usually innocent people returning to their homes, including children.
Often in areas where children play or work, taking animals out to the field, and over 70% of casualties of cluster munition remnants were children.
The new report from the UN's Cluster Munition Coalition says the worldwide cluster bomb casualties are at their highest ever, with Ukraine overtaking Syria as the most dangerous place. The bombs killed more than 300 people in Ukraine and wounded over 600 others just last year. In July, the Biden administration reluctantly agreed to provide Ukraine the cluster bombs it wanted to fend off Russian attacks.
It's a decision that required a real hard look at the potential harm to civilians.
The White House justified the decision by saying the cluster bombs it was providing had a far lower rate of unexploded duds than those of the Russians. But the researchers were not impressed.
We were appalled by that decision. We fought it behind the scenes for the year leading up to the decision.
Turkey has not signed on to the ban of cluster bombs, but has condemned their use. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, here on Tuesday, paying a visit to his troops on the Bakhmut front line, promised Ukraine will do everything possible to limit the harm to civilians. But the only good news these researchers reported is that among the nations that have signed onto the cluster ban, nearly 180 million cluster bomblets have been collected and destroyed. Mikail Malik, TRT World.